Hello and welcome. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the web's biggest, magic tricks, how it actually remembers who you are. You know that feeling, right? You're shopping online, you add something to your cart, you click around to a dozen other pages, and then you come back, and yep, it's still there. How in the world does that happen? It feels so seamless, almost magical. But the secret behind it is, it's pretty fascinating. And here's the kicker. That's right. The fundamental protocol that makes the internet work, HTTP, is inherently stateless. It's literally designed to forget you the second you move from one page to another. So, how do websites solve this case of digital amnesia? Okay, so let's really dive into this core problem, because if you get this part, everything else we're about to talk about will just click into place. I want you to imagine walking into a store. You ask the shopkeeper a question, then you turn around for a second, turn back, and ask another question, and they have absolutely no idea who you are. They treat you like a total stranger. That's exactly what a web server does by default. And you can see why that makes things like staying logged in or, keeping a shopping cart basically impossible without a little help. So, the very first, and probably the most famous, solution to this forgetfulness problem was the humble cookie. And honestly, this analogy is perfect. A cookie isn't some tasty snack your computer's munching on. Nope, it's just a tiny piece of data, like a little digital name tag, that lets that forgetful shopkeeper, the server, finally recognize you when you come back. The process is actually pretty simple. The server hands your browser a unique little ID card. Your browser then tucks it away for safekeeping. Then, every single time you visit that site again, your browser just quietly flashes that ID card, and the server goes, it's you, I remember you now. So let's look at the key details here. Cookies are tiny, we're talking about 4 kilobytes max. They also have an expiration date, which is why you sometimes get logged out of websites after a while. But here's the really crucial part, they get sent with every single request back to the server. Even if you're just asking for an image, and that, as you can imagine, can add up to a lot of unnecessary chatter on the network. But think about it. What if you don't really want to carry all your important information around on a simple ID card for everyone to see? Well, that's where sessions come in. This is the next level. Here's where the analogy gets a really clever upgrade. Instead of the server writing your whole shopping list on your name tag, it keeps your list in a secure locker in its own back room. And all it gives you is the key to that one specific locker. And this right here is the fundamental difference. It's a huge one. With cookies, the data itself is on your computer, but with sessions, all the important data, your shopping cart, your login info, it's all stored safely over on the server. The cookie you hold on to is just a simple, meaningless little key, a session ID. And the payoff is security. It's just so much more secure. By keeping your sensitive shopping cart details on its own turf, the server protects that information from being easily seen or messed with on your end. It's a game changer. All right, so now let's jump into some more modern tools. What if your browser needs to remember things that the server doesn't even care about? Things that are just for you. Meet local storage. This is storage that lives entirely inside your browser. And the permanent wallet analogy is perfect. It's for things like saving your preference for a website's dark mode, or maybe keeping a draft of a long blog comment you're writing. The data just stays there, even after you close and reopen your browser until you decide to clear it out. And get this, just look at the size difference. It's not even a fair fight. A cookie, remember, can only hold about 4 kilobytes. Local storage gives you a massive 5 to 10 megabytes. That's thousands of times more space to work with. And the best part, none of it gets sent to the server with every request. Now, local storage also has a temporary cousin, session storage. So if local storage is your permanent wallet, think of session storage as a temporary pocket. You put something in it for a little while, but the second you close that browser tab, poof, everything in that pocket is gone. And this is incredibly useful. Think about when you're filling out a long application online, one with multiple pages. Session storage is what remembers your answers as you click from next page to next page. But once you submit the form and close the tab, all that temporary data is wiped clean. No mess, no fuss. Okay, so we've talked about all these hidden, invisible mechanisms. But what if you actually want to see them? What if you want to find the evidence for yourself? Well, you can. And it's way easier than you think.
Seriously, on pretty much any modern browser, just hit the F12 key. That'll pop open the developer tools. It might look a little intimidating, but just look for a tab that says Application. Click on that, and over on the left-hand side, you'll see a little section called Storage. That's where all the secrets are hidden.
And right there, laid out in plain sight, you'll see a neat list. You can click to see every single cookie the site has given you. You can see everything it's put in your permanent wallet, the local storage, and you can see anything it's temporarily holding in your pocket, the session storage. It's a really cool peek behind the curtain. So, let's put it all together one last time. This is your ultimate cheat sheet. You've got the cookie, which is your simple ID card for staying logged in. You've got the session, the secure locker, which is perfect for keeping your shopping cart safe on the server. You've got local storage, your permanent wallet in the browser for app settings. And finally, session storage, your temporary pocket for things like multi-step forms. Each one has its own job, its own place, and its own perfect use case. So the next time you're browsing the web, you're not just a passive visitor anymore. You're an observer. You understand that invisible conversation happening between your browser and the server. You're in on the secret. So, what are you going to go look for? Thanks for joining us.